again, YouTubers and Pokemon fans. As many of you seem to want from yesterday's video, today we have our pre-release deck profile / tournament report for you guys from Saturday's pre-release. On Saturday, you saw me open up the packs and contents of the pre-release kit as you see here. On Sunday, you saw me open up the prizes I got from there. So if you saw that, you already know what my record was based on that. But today we will show you what deck I put together, what cards I didn't use, and briefly go over how the matches went. So first and foremost here, let's get the cards out of the deck box. And let's see here. These are the cards I actually did not use. I won't go through all of them, but I did not use the 3 2-bar Barracle line I ended up with. The ability Hand Block, if you have a Stadium card in play, which I have decided not to run anyway, your opponent can't attach any special energy cards from his or her hand to his or her Pokemon. Double Colors and Strong Energy are in the set, but I figured I wouldn't see too many of those during the day. I think I ended up seeing Strong Energy once, and that was attached turn 1 of a game, so I wouldn't be able to hand block it anyway. And I saw Double Colorless Energy, I think possibly that same game actually, but I think it worked out best. I didn't use it. 100 HP is obviously not bad for pre-release. 70 for 3 is not bad either, but just didn't seem to be the best fit for what I was doing. And 3 retreat cost is beefy as well. And I already had at least one other high retreat Pokemon, which we'll get to. I did end up with 2 Cast Towers, including a reverse one, which is very snazzy. Maybe I should have played it, but just to help probably keep myself from getting asleep or paralyzed. Although, if I remember correctly, I don't think that ever really came into play for me. And then on that side, Confused and Poisoned cannot happen to that player. But still, I think it was best I didn't. 1 Dewgong here. I had 2 Seal, 3 Dewgong. 2-3 line didn't make too much sense, so extra Dewgong. I ended up with a total of 6 Riolu, so there's 3 extras. I passed on using a 2-1-1 Exploud line. Figured that'd be too loud to get up. And 80 for 3, possibly 120. It's definitely not bad, but there's also a lot of fighting in the pre-release for this set, so figure it'd be a weakness liability as well. And then we had a 2-1 Pupitar line, and I did not use my Alakazam-EX, mainly because it was the only psychic type I used. Although I did have 2 Professor's Letter, so maybe I should have put it in the deck, because I could have had, even just 1 or 2 psychic energy in the deck and been able to find either the actual energy or Professor's Letter to get the energy if I had Alakazam, but it worked out okay. It does 3 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any energy attached to it. So at times it may only do 30 damage. Sometimes it may, spraying around, do 90 or 120. You never know, but obviously 160 HP is not bad in pre-release, but I still decided not to use it. And then pretty much everything else here is either just weak standalone basics or evolutions I didn't have the pre-evolved forms to, etc, etc. So on the deck I did end up using, knowing what I didn't use there, we've got 3 Riolu, 2 Lucario, which saw plenty of play for me, with Beatdown, 1 for 40, and Magnum Kick, 3 for 70. And the fighting weakness actually came into play a few times as well for me. We got 2 Carbink with Safeguard, so EXs cannot harm it. We got 2 Hawlucha, mainly in there because of the backflip draw card. So if I have that as my starting Pokemon, just to help increase my hand size and increase my options. But I don't think I ever actually start with Hawlucha, and I think I may have backflipped once the entire tournament. Now we've got 2 Seals, 80 HP, 1 for 10 attack, and then the 2 Dewgongs. That's one of my beefy retreaters. They're a 3 retreat cost. 120 HP though, can do 20 for just 1, and will either paralyze or put your opponent's Pokemon to sleep. And based on that, if paralyzed, they can't hurt you next turn unless they have a switch or something. If asleep, 50% chance to wake up. So combine it all, 75% chance your opponent can't attack with their active Pokemon on their next turn when you use Freezing Breath, which is not too bad because stalling can definitely be a thing in pre-releases just to get yourself set up. And then White Kyurem, another beefy retreater, but proved to be my main attacker on the day. 130 HP, it's the pre-release promo I got. Burning Icicles does 40. I did not run Fire, again, in retrospect, since I had 2 Professor's Letter, probably should have ran at least 1 Fire, just because I had extra ways to potentially get it. If I had a Fire energy attached, it would do 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So, in total, it would do 80 damage for 2 energy, which isn't bad at all. But I didn't do that, but I don't think it screwed me or anything like that anyway. And then Blizzard Burn does 130 for 3, but then this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. And I probably don't remember the details of each individual game very well after this step, but I know a few times I used Blizzard Burn, and the next turn, since he couldn't attack, I just retreat for the 3, and let him chill on the bench and have Lucario or someone else go out there and start smashing some face in. Got one Mew, which I don't think I ever actually used. I discarded it like twice, I think, with Ultra Ball. The ability only works on the attacks of your basic Pokemon. And being a pre-release, where, you know, White Kyurem's a beefy basic, but if I don't want to put 3 energy on a 50 hit point body, in standard format, Mew might see some play just because it can, you know, use the attacks of EXs while only being, you know, a 1 prize target, and may give you an extra weakness to work with in Psychic. But anyways, we got one Meowth with 70 HP. Turmoil Strike does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So it's if you start with it, you can't do anything. I never actually did attack with it during the day. It was active once and then was retreated while I was just playing musical chairs, trying to buy some time to figure something out. I figured late game, if I needed to do 50 to something with damage on it to end the game, it could come into play, but didn't work out that way. We got a nice beefy Snorlax with 140 HP, Toss and Turn, and Swallow attacks. Never actually attacked with him, but he did come into play once. I ended up with a total of 4 Shaunas. The dream of a pre-release right there, having all that draw, and a Tierno. The 2 Shaunas and 1 Tierno all came in like the bonus pack of the pre-release kit, as well as the 2 Professor's Letter, the Ultra Ball, and the Great Ball. Actually, Ultra Ball might have come in my packs, I can't remember for sure. Then we got 7 basic fighting and 7 basic water. And I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll try to be brief. Probably won't be, with my turn report here. So round 1, I faced someone who had the Moltres promo from their kit. So they had Fire and, let's see. Well, I know they had at least a 3-2 Mandibuzz line. They had at least a 2-2-2 Delphox line. They had the Moltres, but early on, they kept getting the evolutions, but not the basics they went with, and vice versa. At one point, I think they discarded their 2 Delphox on something, and then they drew their breaks in. So they weren't able to ever get very fully set up. So it wasn't too difficult of a matchup, as I got my White Kyurem. White Kyurem was my starter for that game, so I was swinging for 40 turn 2, and then 130 turn 3, and I think I just waited a turn and swung for 130 again, and I think Lucario ended up coming in to clean up some stuff at the end. But I think I won that one, 4 prizes I took to their 1, if I remember correctly. Round 2 was not so good of a match. Despite having the 4 Shaunas and 1 Tierno, I don't think I saw any of those until pretty late in the game. It had to have been at least turn 6, 7, maybe 8 that I finally got a Shauna and could, shuffle my hand away and get some fresh cards. And also working against me, White Kyurem was the final prize in my prizes that spoiler, I lost this game, so I never got to possess that White Kyurem, which, like I said, proved to be my best attacker on the day. And I'll try to put a screenshot on the screen right now, because I took a picture right before the game was over of the field. Because late game, they had a Mothim out that was swinging for 60 with Gust, had an ability that could move its damage counters to other Pokemon, and they attached Twisted Spoon to it, so the effects of my attacks did nothing to it. And the turn before that happened, I was getting ready to push out my Dewgong. Remember how I said the Dewgong has a 75% chance of your opponent not being able to attack with their active? Well, I was ready to counter their Mothim with that Dewgong, doing just 20 at a time, but hopefully make it so they couldn't attack while I got other stuff on the bench set up. But then they dropped that Twisted Spoon, and all I could do was 20 for 1, and I could not put them to sleep or paralyze them because of Twisted Spoon. So, and they also had Strong Energy. They're the ones that had that early game, and they had Double Colorless Energy on the Mothim. So basically, everything that could go against me did in that match, it seemed like. They had every counter to what I was trying to do and such, and that obviously resulted in my loss. Managed to take 2 prizes, and I played as much musical chairs and towards the end of the game as I could to try to pull in the game, but I couldn't get anything set up because I had to keep sending out Pokemon with 1 retreat cost, let them take a hit, then retreat them, send something else out. So since I could only attach 1 energy per turn, I couldn't do that while they had just 1 prize left and get anything set up to try to counter with anything. But it is what it is. I lost that game. And then round 3, I opened up with Carbink as my active, and they start with Alteria EX. Reminder, Carbink has that Safeguard ability, so that could be kind of showing these as I talk, but oh well. So you got the Safeguard ability, so their attack can't do anything, but they had resistance, so I could only do 20 each turn with Power Gem. But once I did power gym a few times, I think it was White Kyurem I got fully powered. I got someone fully powered that I then retreated for, and I knocked out the Alteria EX, because I wanted to make sure I took those 2 prizes before they retreated away, since I had no way to bring out their bench with a Lysander or anything like that. But then later on, they got a fully powered Zygarde out, which can do 120 for 3, and then 10 to each of their bench, if I remember correctly, which was not too fun to deal with. But I eventually got that out of the way, I think, although it might have been for the last prize. I can't remember for sure. But I know late game. So, I had 1 prize left, as did they. I had a Kyurem on the bench with 2 energy. I need 3 to do 130 with the Burning Ice was the first deck. 130 with Blizzard Burn. So I was trying to get 3 energy on the White Kyurem. So I think he was on my bench with 2 energy. I had 1 card in hand, which was a water energy. And then on their turn, they used N. So I had to shuffle away that 1 water energy to redraw 1 card. And then I'll get 1 card at the start of my turn. They ended up knocking out whatever active I had. So I pushed out White Kyurem, because it's the only way to go. And I kept the 1 card from N face down and my card face down to make it more dramatic. Flip it over. I had a Mew as the first card, but it wasn't going to do me anything. Second card I flip over, Shauna. So I dropped the Mew to the bench to maximize my draw potential, and I play the Shauna to shuffle draw 5 cards. The deck at this point had 14 cards left, and I think 3 of them were energy. So about 1 in 5 cards would be energy. So probability says I should get 1 energy to put on the White Kyurem and win the game. So I shuffle up, they cut, and then I start revealing 1 card at a time. Very first card's water energy, Blizzard Burn, game over. I actually got 2 energies off of the Shauna to win that game, but about as dramatic of a finish for a pre-release game as you can get. Having the energy I need in hand, getting it end away, drawing 1 card, not being it, drawing for turn, getting that Shauna, and then getting energy off the Shauna. It was dramatic, but I got the win. And then final round, my opponent and I each opened with a Snorlax. They decided to attach their Snorlax. I decided to put out my bench and let Snorlax sit there as a wall, which seemed to work in my favor. As Snorlax has fighting weakness and 140 HP. I can actually show you these things here. So yeah, Snorlax has 140 HP and is double weak to fighting. Lucario has an attack for 70. 70 times 2 is 140. So while they powered up their Snorlax, I let my Snorlax just sit there and take a beating. And they eventually had 3 or 4 energy on their Snorlax. And after 3 or 4 attacks, they finally knocked out my Snorlax. I pushed out the Lucario, Magnum Kick, goodbye Snorlax. And I think I had a White Kyurem powered up shortly thereafter as well. So I was able to just swing hard and consistently with a couple of big beefy Pokemon for 70 or 130 or with weakness even more. At one point they did push out Delphox, which does 20 damage times the number of energy in play, I think. So they knocked out my Lucario for 200 damage, but then I pushed out the White Kyurem, and their Delphox is weak to water, so I answered their 200 damage with a Blizzard Burn for 260 damage. Quite a bit of damage, especially in a pre-release. So, after all that was said and done, as you may know from yesterday's video, I went 3-1, and I got 2 packs for completing the tournament, plus 1 pack for each win, so I got 5 packs at the end, which I opened yesterday, plus the 4 packs in the pre-release kit, which I opened on Saturday in that video. So you guys have seen 9 Fates Collide packs opened by me so far, and you saw Pokemon Pack Daily open up by partners of our network on Sunday by Flammable Lizard and Pokemon Evolutionaries, Professor K. And then today and Treezy opens. And the next 2 days we'll have more Fates Collide Pokemon Pack Daily episodes from Master Jigglypuff and Kev's Bud. And then I'll be back in the hot seat, now the Fates Collide though, on Thursday, and we'll go from there. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe, rock, smash that like button, visit our website, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for some more Pokemon goodness. Let me know what you guys want to see, because right now I have no idea what I'm opening or doing tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. And I'll see you then for whatever it may be. Thanks for watching, everybody.